looks good.
Doubling up. Roger roll with planet. Flight downside of speed off.
Yikes. You bet. Okay. We don't need any more of these.
All right. Good morning, space fans. Let me know, you know how we kick off the streams here. Let me know if you can hear and see me this morning. It's well before coffee time over here. If you're on the East Coast of the United States, the time is currently 4:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we are standing by for a Starlink launch this morning with our friends over at SpaceX at the coast. So let me see if y'all can hear me. Let me bring this up. 5x5. Looking good so far. Y'all know the drill. Like, literally, I'm here, I'm clicking buttons. Maybe you can hear me. Maybe I'm muted. Nobody knows. It's part of the way that we wake up in the morning. So y'all give me a 5x5 in chat over there to let me know. It looks like we're good to go. I am your host this morning. I'm John Galloway with NASASpaceflight. If you know me from my Twitch stream, you may know me as DOS, where I play Kerbal over there. But I will be here in the studio. I'm actually up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are standing by for Chris Gebhardt, Associate Managing Editor for Assistant Managing Editor for NASASpaceflight. He is actually transporting himself out to the causeway right now to set up that NSF remote camera to bring us some live views of Starlink. See, it says right here, Starlink launch. That's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I look at the screen and then I'm like, oh, it's a Starlink launch. That's what we're talking about today. This is a cool Starlink launch. Not only are they launching Starlink satellites, which is always cool, this is one of those slightly prior to sunrise launches this morning. So have you seen the launches where the rocket goes up, it's dark down at the camera, it's dark at the launch pad, but the rocket actually launches into sunlight? We should get some sort of those effects this morning, coming in, I think, a little bit around 30 minutes before local sunrise at the Cape. So yes, the Starlink launch. Yes, the Starlink launch is what we're saying. Is that spelled right? That would be hilarious if they just gave me this thumbnail and it said Starlink lunch and I didn't notice. There's no coffee available. Chris.
You know, or DOS, you could completely misspell Starlink like I did in a tweet a couple days ago and just call it Stallrink.
Stallrink? Welcome to the Stallrink launch this morning. The voice you hear there, that's going to be Chris Gebhardt. Chris, how you doing this morning?
I am doing good. We are actually almost to the ITL Causeway, so it should be less than 5 minutes before our NSF live cam is set up and trained on the Happy Falcon 9.
All right, the Happy Falcon 9. Is that what we're calling it this morning?
Well, it's what I'm calling it at
4:37
in the morning.
I'm going to try to convince myself that it's the Happy Falcon 9. It's just too early in the morning to have these lights in your eyes is what I'm telling you. I hope that light comes back on.
At least you had the option for coffee this morning. I didn't because bathrooms are closed because of COVID. So like I have to be like very I have to be very thoughtful in what happens here.
Oh no, you have to sort of plan for it because y'all, Chris is out at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. He met up outside the gate in sort of the public staging area where the press gets together. They all get in a line and they're all driving into the to the viewing area for press right now. The viewing area this morning is going to be the ITL Causeway, right, Chris? He may have muted himself there. I tricked him.
That is correct. Yes, ITL Causeway.
You see how we do that? I said something, I knew he wasn't ready, so I made up something else to say while I knew that he was diving for the mute button so that he could start talking, and then all of a sudden, he came back as if that was that wasn't planned. It's too early to have plans like that. So anyways, y'all, again, if you're just joining us, we are here. It's NASASpaceflight. Chris Gebhardt just about ready to get that live camera set up down at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. He'll be watching from the ITL Causeway. Of course, since it's Starlink, that is a SpaceX launch. It's not NASA, so there's no NASA press site, VAB, that sort of stuff. This is a straight-up SpaceX launch, and it's cool because SpaceX is not only the launch provider, the people who are launching the rocket, but they're also the customer. They are the people that have the 58 Starlink satellites on. Now, this morning, there are 58 Starlink satellites aboard this rocket. Normally, there's 60. Why is that? They've actually got a rideshare sat. I think there's three 3 rideshare sats on board right now. So I'm not sure. I didn't hear if that was because of volume or if that was because of mass. Was it like a fairing volume thing, or was it a mass thing? Why do they have to take out 2 Starlink satellites to accommodate these 3 rideshares? A lot of the times when you do a rideshare, it's sort of like in excess capacity, right? So, we'll take a couple CubeSats. We can put a launcher on here, and they don't weigh very much, so we don't really have to change our primary payload. But the primary payload we're used to seeing with Starlink is 60 satellites of those sort of flat satellites that are packed up like a deck of cards in the fairing, and we've got 58 this morning. So my understanding is that's due to the extra rideshare stats that are going on. But anyways, a couple things real quick before Chris gets set up. As we do our live streams here, and it's going to be me with a talking head here for just a minute. As we do our live streams with NASASpaceflight, we try to do them live and interactive. We're not just trying to sit here and, here's the NASA feed. We'll be quiet and you can just watch it. Like I just said, there's not even a NASA feed today. It's going to be a SpaceX feed. But we try to answer some questions. So once Chris gets set up, we're going to go through some Q&A. And as we do Q&A, I would ask that you tag us if you have a question. So at NASASpaceflight in the YouTube chat, if you do that and then ask your question, it makes it easier for us to see your question. We can't always get to your questions in real time. Sometimes the questions need to go, most of the time, the questions need to go into a queue. And so if you ask a question, we don't get to it in real time. Please be patient with us. Sometimes somebody will ask a really great question, and we'll go through and spend a lot of time answering that one question. We get a little bit of a backlog sometimes. Just be patient with us. We do want to be live and interactive. We do want to be interacting with you, answering your questions and stuff like that. But we also have to operate in real time. So just keep that in mind for me. Peter Buchanan. Oh, well, here's another thing. That's actually Peter Buchan. I was going to say Buchanan, but it's missing an N in there somewhere. So we appreciate the Red Team subscription there. I guess that's a membership on YouTube. We are able to do these live streams. We're able to afford data and cameras and modems and things like our encoder boxes and gas and all sorts of stuff that it takes to make these streams happen because of your support. Whether we're coming live from Boca Chica, whether we're on the side of a train yard, if you saw the stream yesterday, or wherever we're bringing you live video from, and all the other things we do, all the prepackaged videos, whatever they're called, all those sorts of things. We're able to do that because of your support. So things like the channel membership, like Peter just did there, joining the Red Team, that is one of the many ways that you can support us. We do the super chats and stuff like that. If you do a super chat or if you do a channel membership, again, just be advised that we may not shout it out in real time. We'll see it. It goes into a queue. We'll put it on the screen. It like shows up down here sometimes, right? But we don't always get that in real time. Just be patient with us on those. But we could not do this without your support. So thank you for the super chats and thank you for memberships. And you know something, if you're not super chatting, you're not memberships, anything like that, that's fine. Just showing up to the stream. We got a tweet you could retweet to help get the word out. Whatever you do, whether you're chatting, whether you're just lurking, you're putting this up on a TV and muting me because you don't like to hear me talk. I don't care. I appreciate your support. We appreciate you rolling out this early in the morning if you're in the United States, or late in the evening if you're still over on the West Coast, because it's like 1:42 on the West Coast. And it does, yeah, that sounds like, that's not Verizon Wireless, Tucker. I think that's probably Chris G who's setting up the tripod and getting out of his car. I believe that's the microphone that we've had there. So, unless you're talking about my live mic, because my live mic is, clearly it's live. Let me see if we can do this.
Actually,
go ahead.
Well, actually, I just turned my mic back on because I am almost ready.
All right.
So I wanted to be able to take questions as I get the camera up and running. And
Excellent.
stuff like that.
Well, let me know whenever I should be checking the solo. Let me know when we can expect that feed.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. So while we're waiting on the feed, we can do this. Check this out. Over at the Cape today, where is my telestrate? Is this the right one? Hang on a second, y'all. Let's see if we can check the weather over here. Present. Yeah, this will work. This is fine. Here's the weather at the Cape. We don't need to see me real quick. This is as of a couple minutes ago, and you can see that it's pretty clear out at the Cape right now. Of course, right in here, this is Melbourne, where we're getting the weather from. This is Titusville over here, and Cape Canaveral is going to be right in this area here. This is actually weather at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station at the skid strip they've got over there, and they're showing winds at 10 knots, if I'm not mistaken. Did I read that correctly? It says 8 miles per hour, it says right now. That says 10, but it says 8 miles per hour. 77 degrees, winds at 135. Not showing any rain in the area or anything like that. So right now everything is pretty clear in the area. Last I heard, I thought we were out at about 70% go, but everything was green currently, and we were at 70% go. And Chris, we are getting a lot of noise off of that the mic setup there. If you had a chance to.
Okay, if we're not going to take questions, then I'll mute myself. I thought we were taking questions. That's
Okay.
why I unmuted.
Yeah, we can start getting some questions, but there's an awful lot of banging around and stuff going there. So let me see if we can grab some questions. So, again, folks, if you're just joining us, we are standing by. There's supposed to be a launch of the Starlink satellites with SpaceX this morning. They've got a Falcon 9 down at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, and they are going to be doing a launch here with 58 Starlink satellites and a couple ride shares. So we'll bring up these. Wow. Questions.
Yes.
What does ITL stand for? There's one we can start off with. What does ITL stand
for? You're going to ask me something I don't actually know.
You want questions.
It stands for something causeway.
I'm Googling. Hang on.
I truly, honestly don't know the answer to that. I do not know what ITL stands for. No one has ever asked me that question before, and I've never had a need to go look up what the acronym is.
I got it.
So
I got your back. It is the Integrate Transfer Launch Causeway. The Integrate
There we
Transfer
go.
Launch Causeway. That is what that is. The Integrate Transfer Launch Causeway.
Well, that makes sense because of the role that it was primarily used for in the Titan family of rockets, where they would integrate them and then have to roll them out. So that does indeed work.
I'm going to keep hitting you with some questions here. Will we get a recovery
Yeah, please do.
today? So that's Fortnite Sinclair. I'm not sure if Fortnite Sinclair is asking about a fairing recovery or a booster recovery. So how many times has this booster flown, and are they going to try to land it? And then are we going to try for a fairing catch today?
So they are going to attempt to catch the booster, and the booster is reused, or we are reusing it, I should say. But yes, this is following very, very standard Starlink missions. The payload fairings are reused from previous missions. On this one, they are going to try to catch them and recover them.
Yep.
Like they normally do. So yeah, all of that will continue as planned.
As planned. All right. So we are going to try to get a recovery today. I say this. I think that the recovery is super critical for Starlink launches, mostly of the booster, right? Because SpaceX wants to launch an awful lot of these Starlink satellites, and in order to do that, they need to keep their boosters flying. So losing a booster for a Starlink launch is a pretty big deal because that booster needs to launch more Starlink satellites. A lot of the Starlink satellites, Chris, have any of the boosters for Starlink relaunched, like done 2 Starlink launches? Do we know that?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, they have. I believe the last one actually had supported a previous Starlink before it launched on its second Starlink flight as well. So yes, we are reusing. Jesus. Sorry.
You good?
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out though, Das.
Sure.
Every time now, the last several times, it will not read the camera.
It will not read the camera. Sounds like we need to get a couple other cables.
Yeah, the Solo just says there's no camera attached, and there is a camera attached, and it's actually showing the camera preview.
Yeah,
like it's doing right now.
Right. Is there the button? Can you tap the center button, the hat control?
Yeah, it just says it can't identify an input, but the camera's on.
But the camera's on, and you see it on the screen?
I don't now.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, now it's going. It just requires me to tell you that it's not behaving, and then the fear of God is struck
Chris?
into it, and it does.
It's working fine. I don't see a problem on my end. What's wrong with it? Jeez.
Right, man.
Oh.
Gosh.
So let's see if we are getting a feed. It looks like I am starting to get a feed.
And you should be, yes.
Yeah. So let me know when you are ready. Are you ready for me to cut to that camera?
I am indeed ready for you to cut to that camera.
All right, good deal. So let's see what we've got on Remote 02 down at Cape Canaveral. Survey says There you go, right there. All right, Chris. So we've got your camera online, we've got your voice online, and we can keep on keeping on with the questions. Also, y'all, we've been sort of fighting the audio there. I think as Chris stands up and we get a little bit more situated, we will be better on the audio balance. I know that was a little bit off there, but as always, let me know if we're not getting good balance there. So I think we should be good now.
I need to reposition things a little bit farther up, so I'm going to zoom out just a little bit.
Okay, good deal.
Yep.
And I'll grab another
but
question.
Yes, I can keep going for question. Yeah.
Sure. So here's one. This is going to be a big thing for the launch today. Mike Overton says, "Why is there no static fire for this launch? What's the deal?"
That is, of course, the biggest change that SpaceX has made here so far is no static fire, and that's definitely surprising to a lot of people because static fires are always what they do, right? They haul it out there, they fire it up, they really test it. And they haven't today. And their reason for that, honestly, is that
Stand by. Chris, you still there?
Yeah.
You just went robot for a second.
Yeah,
Don't sweat it.
No, I'm also looking at the Solo. The Solo dropped to like 200.
All right. Well, we can have a look at that too. You've only got one modem online right now. The two USB modems are not reporting that they are online. Do we have two?
They are in fact online and blinking green.
Okay. So they are not being used right now. I'll have a look at it and see if there's anything we can do from here. Studio, yeah, that's there. One reports that it's online, but it's not getting any data. The other one is reporting that the Solo does not see it right now. So the best thing to do there is unplug one of them. And I'm not actually showing video for. I just see a black screen on the video, Chris. Oh, it was the sky.
Well, that was the sky. Yes. You want me to take them out and plug them back in?
We've got the video back. I would unplug one of the Verizon USB sticks and plug it back in real quick if you could.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And what are we on in terms of time? We've got just under 30 minutes. We've just crossed past T-minus 30 minutes up there. T-minus 29:33. So standing by for the Starlink launch here in just about 30 minutes, just under 30 minutes. And
exactly.
we do have your video back, it looks like. Let me know, are you done unplugging and plugging stuff back in?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And I see an absolutely horrendous bit rate.
Okay, just give it a second here.
Okay.
It's going to redial the modems and stuff, and there's a whole process that happens, right? So
gotcha. There
is the video we're getting, and we're getting up to a nominal bit rate now. I'm showing over 7,000, actually just under 7,000. So we'll watch this and see what we're getting on this. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's dropping again. It's horrendous tonight for some reason.
Yep.
No idea why.
Yep, just keep on keeping on with it. We'll give it a look, and we'll see. It actually takes it a couple minutes for that USB modem to redial because it uses AT commands. So give it a minute.
Gotcha.
Let's do some more.
Then while we're waiting,
yep.
Yeah, let's do some more questions. Yeah.
So here's one. This is Ricardo Ferraro, and Ricardo said, "How many times has this Falcon been up and back?"
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that because this is a flight-proven booster with flight-proven payload fairings, and again, we'll say flight-proven because that's the language that SpaceX likes to use in that again. But yes, in particular, for this particular flight of Falcon 9, this is booster 1059, making its third flight. It was originally the 59th Falcon 9 heavy booster core overall that was built, which is what that B59 stands for itself. And this core previously launched the CRS-19 mission last December for SpaceX to the station and the CRS-20 flight earlier to the International Space Station. So this is its first time flying with a batch of Starlink satellites, and it flew for the last time in March of 2020.
Gotcha.
So pretty good turnaround rate there as well. And that actually goes to part of their static fire. And why didn't the static fire occur for this one, which is a huge question.
Go ahead.
Well, at a certain point, it comes down to cadence, and it comes down to what they've learned in the life of the boosters and how quickly they want to get through the internal-only SpaceX missions, right? Starlink missions. And fire is a way to shave some time off of that if you've gotten good data from other elements of the particular rocket's flight. And of course, if they're still trying to get to reuse the same booster within 24 hours, there's no way you could do a static fire on that, right? You would have to grab it from the landing zone here and just haul it to the other pad and hook it up to a second stage, haul it out, fuel it, and launch it again.
Gotcha.
So it's all part of that evolving plan. Yeah.
All right, good deal. I'm just going to keep hitting you with questions.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
All righty. Let's see. We were talking about the weather. I think the last update we got in terms of how the weather is going was a 70% go. Is that still accurate, Chris?
It might be a little less accurate now because that percentage is probably a higher degree. It is almost a cloudless sky in the direction that Falcon 9 will be launching into. There are a few clouds off to the west over the peninsula, but it is very, very clear here on the coast. In fact, I'm looking at a gorgeous half moon.
Nice.
Which I'm really excited about because if the bit rate and everything holds on our streaming gear, everything, it's clear in the direction that we might be able to show you the entry burn of the Falcon 9 from 600 kilometers northeast.
Wow.
And you can see it clear as day here from the Cape on a clear night. Now, if there are clouds right on the horizon that we can't see yet, before liftoff, that could end up being a bit of an issue or a problem, obviously. But I'm hoping that this will be a nice night to show that finally.
Gotcha. Here's another one. You can do this one really quickly. Blake asked, what's a static fire?
Yeah, so a static fire is a full-up countdown dress rehearsal where they load the vehicle, they pressurize it, and they actually fire and ignite all 9 Merlin 1D engines on the base of the Falcon 9 as if they were going to launch, but then they just don't release the hold-down clamps. They shut down the engines, and that also gives the team time to practice what they would do in the event of an on-pad abort after the engines ignite, which is good to practice because it happens sometimes. Actually, with a Starlink mission a couple of months ago, we got to T0 and nothing happened. It didn't lift off because it aborted very, very close to liftoff, but the teams knew exactly what to do because they get to practice this every time there's a static fire.
Gotcha. Are we seeing any venting out there yet, Chris? Do we know if fueling has started or...
So we do not see venting yet, but we would not be expecting roughly 5 a.m., 5:01 a.m. at the T-minus 20 minute mark.
I see venting on your video.
Well, then I'm not getting close to the camera because I'm afraid I'm going to block the signal.
Yeah.
There's just below
There's a little condensation on there, yeah.
Okay, there is. Condensation that you can't see with the naked eye from 5 kilometers or 3 miles away from the pad, and I'm standing back from our equipment because I don't want me to interfere with our signal right now. Which would be normal, right? Because the condensation will form as the densified liquid oxygen and RP1 kerosene are pumped into the first stage. They're pumped in simultaneously. Right now, the second stage is being loaded with RP1 kerosene. That'll close out at around the T-minus 17 minute mark. And then the second stage will get into densified liquid oxygen loading at T-minus 16 minutes. The entire fueling process will last until roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes prior to liftoff, when ground closeouts will begin after propellant is fully on board.
Gotcha. All right, we'll keep rapid firing some questions here. We're just under 23 minutes. We just crossed under T-minus 23 minutes there. I do not see, Michael, since you're on, let me know when the official stream starts. I do not see that coming through, and I want to make sure we have the cover camera set up. We are experiencing some signal difficulties. Y'all can hear even Chris's voice going full robot mode there, so I'm not sure what's going on with the cellular signal down at the Cape today, but there's something going on. We've got...
Currently, SpaceX mission control audio is on, but not the actual stream.
Yeah, and I've got that, and I am pumping that
Cool.
into the Discord chat here.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can try if we're fine with a shaky camera for a second, or if we can just cut to the studio feed.
Yeah,
DOS.
yeah, we can do that.
I can try to. Yeah,
Go ahead,
I can
Chris.
try to move us to a better location. It might be some of the cars that are around me,
Okay.
even though I'm not near them.
Yeah.
But
give it
yeah,
a try right
let
quick.
me-
We moved over to the studio, so let's get that done before
Okay,
T-minus
perfect.
20.
Perfect.
All right. Again, y'all, if you're just joining us this early in the morning, we're standing by for a 5:20 something. What time is it supposed to be, Michael? 5:21?
Yes.
Okay.
521.
See, I thought it was 5:20. I just thought I'd sort of skate that out there. We're standing by for a 5:21 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time launch of the Starlink with SpaceX. You can see that's just over 21 minutes away from right now. This is an instantaneous window this morning, I believe. Or it's a one-shot window, I guess. I think they may have a little flexibility in the window, but they've only got one shot to launch it, if I'm not mistaken. So it's either going to go or it's not going to go. But like Chris was saying, the last official report we got was 70% go, and it looks like the weather's been holding pretty nicely this morning. The 45th Weather Squadron down there supporting this launch in terms of weather. And Chris, let me know when you're good to
And
go
DOS,
again.
we are. I was just going to tell you that we are
right.
good to go. So come on back, and I think I've got a better bit rate for us. So that might have been the problem.
Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, now you're up at 9,000. That is
Yes, so
significantly
that was the
different.
problem.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Well, don't talk about it. We'll make it not feel good about itself. It'll have a problem. So let's pop back over to the remote here. And Chris, I was just talking about the 45th Weather Squadron supporting this launch and how the weather was looking. And this is sort of a special weather squadron situation for this launch. You went over to check out the weather squadron and learned a couple things about what's going on. What's so cool about this launch?
Yes. So as we watch the big T-minus 20-minute vent happen here,
Nice.
one of the things that is really cool about this launch from a weather perspective, it is coincidentally the first time in history that all of the people on the weather team are women. It was not planned that way. It was totally just when they went and made the duty rosters. It was, all the people are women. This is cool. We should talk about this. And yes, sorry, I'm getting the camera configured, I think,
Gotcha.
I'm getting it all ready for liftoff here. But anyway, yes, it's all women. It's coincidence. These are women who are both civilian and civil servants, as well as Air Force officers. But that is a huge milestone that was reached here for this particular mission. And
Gotcha.
yeah, Jim Williams over here brought us in and let us talk with all of them and meet the team and everything. And it was really cool to do all of that earlier this week.
Yeah, I think we've actually got a video that we released here on the YouTube channel that goes through sort of there's some interviews and stuff on there, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
We spent about an hour talking with the various teams and talking about weather forecasting in general, especially here at the Florida Spaceport, where we do have very dynamic weather setups. Today is very quiet, which
Right.
we like. But of course, a couple of weeks ago, one major launch with 2 humans on board was anything but quiet in terms of the weather. So it was cool to be able to talk to them about all of those considerations, like the entire weather consideration and how they do it and how they coordinate between each other. Because what's really cool is it's not just, radar and everything and satellite that they use. They have planes, they have balloons, they have ways of going up and actually investigating clouds that on radar might appear to give you a no-go configuration for triggered lightning rules, but that they can get with their teams and they can actually put a plane up in the air, and then with that plane they can go verify, oh, okay, it actually is what we're seeing or it's not what we're seeing, which I think is
Gotcha.
really cool.
Yeah. So, Chris, you put the camera on manual focus, I believe, right?
Hello?
Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chris, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Well, we can hear Chris just fine, but it sounds like he cannot hear me right now. He looks like he's going to reconnect to the call there, but we were able to hear him just fine. And we're going to talk about the camera here as well. It looks like he switched it to a mode, and the settings on the camera are not quite right. So I'm sure he'll get reconnected to voice here shortly, and we will figure out what's going on. Studio, could you send him a text, please? And just let him know.
Just to confirm, the video we were talking about will be published after launch.
The weather video. So after the launch, we'll publish that weather video, right? All right, good deal. So, Chris, we're going to work on getting, chat, we're going to work on getting Chris back online. It looks like he has lost the connection there. We were able to hear him just fine, but he was not hearing us. Again, some weird things going on with signal down at the Cape today, but that's okay. That's why we have the studio here as well. And I'm continuing to listen in on the mission control audio as well. I am hearing that and piping that through, so if they have anything to say, they will. We'll be able to hear it here. Let's put it that way. So again, just coming up on about 15 minutes before the launch of Starlink. I'm hoping Chris's phone didn't die or something. I am not sure. We are not seeing him in the chat. He'll get back in here just shortly. Chris is reconnecting. Let's see if we've got Chris's audio commentary back. Chris, you there?
Okay, so very bizarre. My phone stayed connected. It did not disconnect. You disconnected on my end, DOS.
Interesting. We saw you leave the chat here, and then we could hear you for a while. We saw you leave the chat, then we couldn't hear you. But you're back now, so we can keep on keeping on here with the launch.
All right.
So
hopefully.
we went over, are we in that manual focus mode on the camera right now?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Oh, are we in the manual focus mode for the camera?
We are in manual focus mode right now. Yes.
Okay, so it's made it almost impossible to see the rocket. It's very dark right now.
What would you suggest I do? Because the button that I had pressed to go to that now won't work.
It won't work.
Yeah, like it won't let me change anything. It's like it's ready for launch.
Are you recording right now?
Nope.
No. Okay, and you can't set it back to autofocus.
Let me check. Hang on.
Yeah. Is there? Can you go through the menu to do that? Go ahead.
SpaceX is live now if we need an extra feed.
All right, thank you.
Okay, how's that? Is that better for autofocus?
We're gonna stand by. Yes. Now we can see the rocket again.
Okay, I'll need to switch it back to manual though before liftoff, where it's gonna completely destroy any ability to see anything when that flame comes off the pad. Yeah.
Yes. So this is the camera settings that we need to practice with at night sometimes. So we'll schedule some time, me and you, to take this thing outside and point it at a street light or something. Okay.
We will. There's always something new that we figure out on these streams live on air, which is part of the magic of NSF.
It's part of the magic of NSF Live. Nice.
Yes.
So I'm going to toss you a question, Chris, real quick, and then we have things. There's a couple super chats that came through. Reykjavik, thank you for the new membership there. Dougal. So Dougal just asked, with a super chat, what's the highest latitude where Starlink works? So do we know that off the top of our head? What is the highest latitude?
Yeah, we do. The Starlinks are designed to work at all latitudes. They will have complete global coverage.
Eventually, but they're like when they start, it's going to be a certain. Then they're going to have to do polar launches or something like that, right?
No. All of these launches that we're doing are for the complete global constellation network. They are high enough in 53, 55 degree inclination orbits that they do cover the entire world. And in fact, it's the polar orbits and the high latitudes that will get service first instead of the
gotcha.
equatorial region.
All right.
But no, there's no need for polar launches. There's no need for nothing. The entire constellation can operate from the inclinations with global coverage.
All right,
Yeah.
good deal. So another question here from Future Martian. Oh, this isn't even a question. It's just $10. It says, thanks for the stream, guys. Knocking it out of the park
thank
as
you.
always. So Future Martian, we appreciate you there. Thank you for the kind words. So we'll grab another question here.
Yeah.
We talked about them catching the fairings. We've already said there is going to be a fairing attempt, right?
Yes. There's
a lot of
now. Bear in mind, just like last time,
Sure.
a week ago, when we were here for the last Starlink, that the fairing catcher ships Go Mystery and Go Mischief, they may actually try to catch them. They may let them passively fall into the ocean and scoop them out for recovery and reuse.
Gotcha.
The fairings land safely and softly enough and intact that they can be fished out of the water for reuse, which is in fact how we have reused most of the payload fairings that we have reused to this day. Yes.
All right. Good deal. Let me see here. Did they catch the fairings for the last Starlink launch?
So they did not catch them, but they fished them out of the water and recovered them.
So there was like a thing they didn't attempt to catch them because of an upgrade or
because
something
of
that was going
weather. I forget the exact reasoning. It was either because of weather or there was some kind of system upgrade that everything was undergoing. And it was just easier to let them fall into the water than try to get the ships under them. But it was one of those reasons.
Gotcha. I'm just grabbing some more questions here. Does the second stage stay in space, or does it burn up on reentry? What do they do with the second stage?
Well, to answer your question, the answer to the question you asked actually is both. It does stay in space, and then it does burn up on reentry. But the way it actually works, when we have stage cutoff for Starlink missions, well, for all Falcon 9 missions, when the second stage cuts off for the first time, it's in orbit, and it's in a stable orbit.
Right.
Now, it's in an orbit specifically for the Starlinks, where, like, if they had an issue with reigniting the engine, it would the orbit would decay within 3 to 4 weeks, and it would come in on its own, and not pollute the low Earth orbit environment. But what they actually do is they restart the second stage about 45-ish minutes after liftoff and deorbit it on purpose to really get it out of the way quickly. So that's the sort of balance that they strike with it, but it would come back in and be destroyed naturally.
All right. So that was a big thing that they talked about before. The Elon was originally saying he was going to look at reusing the second stages, but then he said, nah, we're just going to put our resources into Starship and not ever worry about reusing Falcon 9 second stages. So,
bingo.
Yep. All righty.
Bingo. Yeah.
Here's one. This is Robert and Tina Smith, and they asked, are the actual dimensions of the individual satellites known? Do we know how big a Starlink satellite is?
I do not know it off the top of my head, but I do believe it has been released, yes.
Yeah, me neither. So, Studio, you can get that one for us. Somebody can look up what the size is of a Starlink satellite and put that there. Then I'll act like I'm super smart, and I'll say, oh, well, actually, Chris. And I'll just read out
there you go.
whatever they type in behind the scenes. Here's one. This is from Manus that says, why doesn't SpaceX catch the fairings with a helicopter, I think is the question here. So we've seen Rocket Lab has been doing some helicopter stuff, and then the smart reuse that ULA has talked about, but they haven't actually done anything with yet. So why are they using ships instead of helicopters? Fairings are big.
It's easier.
It's easier?
It's easier. It's cheaper. And the fairings are designed to safely splash down softly in the water. Anyway,
gotcha.
As the backup if they can't be caught in the net. So there's no need to have two helicopter crews out, hundreds of kilometers out into the ocean trying to catch fairings when they can just descend down towards ships, and if the ships can't grab them, they can just fish them out of the water. So
Gotcha. I'm jiggling your camera here where we had an issue with your camera briefly.
yeah, a car drove by.
A car drove by.
But I'm also seeing horrendous bit rates again. So I
Because
have
a car
no
drove
idea.
by. Hopefully
Well,
that
the
goes
car-
back up again.
Well, oh good, the car's also parking, so maybe not.
Yeah, and I've got your video
right
feed
there.
back here, it looks like.
Okay.
You know, the interesting thing is, I think that your framing is better than SpaceX's framing right now. Look, this is the official SpaceX feed, and then this is Chris's feed. SpaceX feed? Oh, well, okay, that's cheating, SpaceX. Chris's feed. There we go. All right.
Did they go to a pad camera?
Yeah, they went to a
Doss?
pad tower camera, so that's cheating. Like
Yeah,
I said.
we don't have that capability. Yeah, all I can say is that the car parked there and our streaming bit rate crashed through the roof.
Yes.
I mean, crashed through the floor. So unless the car moves, I have no idea if we're going to recover.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm watching it here.
But I can't keep moving. Yeah, this is just unfortunate.
Yeah. They're showing a shot of the drone ship right now, and it looks like the sun is rising over into the drone ship. But you're right.
The sun is rising here too, so yes.
Yeah. The signal just went from 9,000 and it dropped down to 1,000 when that vehicle got in your way. So.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll deal with it. That's why we have two feeds and the cover camera and all that sort of stuff. So that is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. We went from a perfect signal to barely any signal because that vehicle got right in the way of the signal. Oh, brother. I'll just be managing it. I'll micromanage it here, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, because we're coming up on T-minus 5 minutes, and they've just got one chance to launch this morning, right, Chris? This is instantaneous.
No. Oh, that was a good point that I wanted to bring up.
Sure.
No, the window is not instantaneous for Starlink.
Okay.
They do have a specific to the second time. So like today it's 05:21 and something seconds, because they target the dead center of a 61-minute launch window.
61? It was 61 minutes?
But as they were going, it's a 61-minute launch window.
Oh, wow, okay.
They target the dead center because it's maximum performance of the Falcon 9. It's the most efficient way to do it. But no, with Starlink missions in the past, we've seen them pull the launch time forward by 10 minutes for various considerations and optimization in that window. And no, if they ran into a technical problem and could go back and hold at T-minus 13 minutes, they'd have roughly 30 minutes to figure out what happened. And if they can keep Falcon 9 in that stable condition at T-minus 13 minutes, could make another go of it. The reason we haven't seen that happen yet on Starlink missions is, one, they haven't needed to do it. And the one issue on a Starlink mission where they got into a technical constraint was the pad abort milliseconds before liftoff. You don't mess with that.
Right.
You had a major off-nominal condition, and instead of rushing to fix it, they did the right thing and they stood down for a couple of days. But we just haven't seen a need to do that yet. But as we push into more of the summer months with more of these going on, it's entirely possible we could see Starlinks get delayed deeper into their windows.
Gotcha. And I just swapped over to the SpaceX video off the fairing catcher ships. They've got 2 live feeds underneath those nets, it looks like. So,
I mean, the goal is definitely to catch them, you know, but it is nice that they do have this redundancy where the ships can't get right under them. They can touch down in the Atlantic and be fine. Unfortunately, as the sun is rising here, I do see clouds on the horizon, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to bring you the entry burn from here, but we'll do our best.
All right. We'll see what we can do. That's what we always do, is show up and see what we can do.
Exactly.
Okay, so Chris, we're coming up on T-minus 3 minutes here. I'm going to see... I think we're going to go ahead and put a hold on the questions for now, and if we get a chance, I can try to answer some more of those after. You're going to have to go pretty quickly after launch, right?
Yeah, when they deploy, when we get confirmation of successful payload deployment, yes, I have to get in the car.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll see if we have a little bit of time to talk about what's going on there, but I can get some of those questions as we go through. And like we said, we're now 2 minutes and 45 seconds away from the launch. So Chris, let's go ahead and get you on the manual focus mode, and
Yes,
let's get
indeed.
switched up, ready to go for that with a couple minutes to go here.
Alrighty.
And stand by. And I do have the cover feed up as well, just in case we need to swap over, because that vehicle is interfering with our line of sight to the cell phone tower, it looks like.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly, I know. Jeez.
And remember to switch over to internal audio at some point.
Yep, and I'm pushing the audio, but I haven't heard anything from SpaceX yet.
Or sorry, I mean Chris G's microphone.
Yes, yeah, that's next up on the list after we get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris, we are definitely going to need to practice with that camera, because right now the rocket is very dark, but we'll figure out what the proper setting to run is there. And
Yeah, I know what happened, so I can recreate it for you later.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Excellent. And let's do this. It is about time for us to swap over to the camera microphone. So let's go ahead and get that online and make sure we can hear it correctly. So I'm going to start piping that audio through. Chris,
And
talk for us real quick.
Gotcha. And yeah. And yeah, how's it going? Here's the 2-minute vent, the wonderful T-minus 2-minute vent, indicating that things are still on track for our liftoff here very shortly from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station.
All right. And Chris, we are in delay mode right now, so you do all the commentating, and we won't try real-time discussion. We're all on your camera microphone.
All right, I copy that, Das. So thank you for that. So here we are, the final 90-ish minutes or so until the launch of the Falcon 9. Don't worry, that image will get a lot brighter when 9 Merlin 1D engines ignite at the base of the Falcon 9. And up we will go with 58 Starlink satellites and 3 CubeSats for Planet Labs. Little bit bigger than CubeSats, but small satellite ride shares. It is the first of SpaceX's dedicated rideshare missions, and the first one to occur on a Starlink mission. So because those 3 Planet Labs satellites are on there, we have 58 instead.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, sorry. I couldn't tell what that message was. It was garbled my end. But in any event, we are about a minute away now from the targeted liftoff time. Not a minute. There we go. I was way off. So liftoff of
liftoff of Falcon 9 and Starlink Ocho.
Did she just say Starlink Ocho?
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
She said Starlink Ocho, but this is 9 according to SpaceX. What are they doing to us? All right, there goes Falcon 9 downrange from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station here in
Power and telemetry are nominal.
Mach 1. You can see the light and the sound actually vibrating through the clouds as Falcon 9 heads out on its early morning liftoff here from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida, heading out northeast with 58 Starlink satellites and 3 satellites for Planet Labs in a rideshare mission. Falcon 9 is actually up behind a cloud from our viewing location here, just passing through Max Q and really heading out now. A lot more horizontal acceleration now than vertical acceleration as she is up out of the really dense parts of the lower portions of the atmosphere.
now. And again, you see that ghostly image of the 9 Merlin engines as Falcon 9 continues to do her job. This is the 3rd flight for this booster. It previously launched the CRS-19 mission in December for NASA and the CRS-20 mission, which completed the cargo-only Dragon career for the version 1 of Dragon from SpaceX back in March of this year. And I think that is about over to the SpaceX live stream there. Falcon 9 continuing to go, approaching stage burnout and separation. We have burnout of that stage. We saw that burnout clear as day here on the ground.
Stage separation confirmed.
And we see the ignition, indeed, and we see the ignition of the Merlin vac engine here from the ground at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. Absolutely gorgeous here. Das, how is it looking from a studio perspective as well?
Oh, we're still going here, Chris. We're ready to bring you back to real-time comms, so we'll go ahead and switch you over there real quick. And you
Fairing separation confirmed.
There was fairing separation we just got confirmed, and we're back on real time.
Okay, awesome. I am trying to find it because we have the massive plume expansion. Like we have a massive plume expansion happening here.
Yep.
But I can't. Hang on.
Yeah, I think it's down and to the right a bit.
There it is. I got it. Do you see it?
Let's see here. Just one second. And
I got it. Do you see
we'll
it?
cut back over to Chris's camera, and we can see a little bit of that plume expansion happening. That's behind the second stage, right, Chris?
That is. Let me zoom in even farther. Let's see what we can do. So that is the second stage. That is. Let me zoom in even. You can actually see the first stage falling.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. You can actually see the first stage falling below it.
Right.
There, but that big dot in the center is the second stage. It's major plume expansion being lit by the sun, which hasn't risen here yet on the ground, but the vehicle is in daylight.
Oh, wow.
Now. But just look at that. They're going behind some high altitude clouds there. This is exactly what we were hoping for. And the way they launched from the ITL Causeway, we are directly behind this. So like, look at what we're seeing in the skies over Florida right now.
Yeah.
As Falcon 9 heads out on this Starlink mission. Absolutely gorgeous plume expansion there in the upper atmosphere. But what's great about this is we're behind it. So that tail that you normally see,
yep,
you can't see it from this perspective because we're directly behind it.
Yeah.
Which I love these various, but just look at that. I mean, we call it the Falcon Nebula, and it's having trouble focusing.
Yeah,
just
it is
because
going
of how
to.
Yeah, just because of how weird the lighting here is right now. But I mean, just look at that, and you can see too. We're 5 minutes 9 seconds or so into flight right now. You can see the second stage Merlin vac engine. I mean, just firing on all cylinders there.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. I mean, just gorgeous. You can see the first stage 2 coming down, about to make its landing attempt on the drone ship. And of course, that drone ship is, of course, I still. So they are trading off. If you were watching some of our port streams, Julia and I were saying, oh, we wonder if they're going to pull, of course, I Still Love You out of service to upgrade it like they did with Just Read the Instructions. But then it went right back out. So they clearly still need it for their cadence.
We've actually got the curvature of the Earth on the landing cam. The left-hand side of the screen is the booster coming in for that landing, and you can see the curve of the Earth there. That's cool.
Look at that. That is so cool. And our entry burn here should be starting momentarily. Again, I don't think we're going to see it here. Although
we'll
we
see.
Normally
if you
do.
see it,
although, oh my
Chris.
God, with the naked eye, I can see the booster falling through the atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
But I can't. There's no way. There's no way I can get that.
That's okay. We're still on the SpaceX camera here.
Yeah, if you see a white streak in there, that's the booster heading down. There it is. There's the entry burn. Look at that. Look at that.
Stage 1
That's
FTS
the
is
entry
saved.
burn
Wow.
600 kilometers
Chris,
away
Dude,
from
that's
us.
amazing.
Look at that.
Look at
Look at
that.
Look at
Stage
that.
one
That is
entry
the
burn
entry
started.
burn happening 600 kilometers northeast of here. It went behind the cloud
No
that
way.
I was worried about. But that's what I wanted to show all of you. You can see the entry burns from here on these Starlink missions. It is insane. And I could
Okay.
actually see a white contrail plummeting toward the ground.
That was
which
cool.
is why I got so happy that I could actually see the booster. But that's amazing. I'm glad we finally got that shot.
We got so lucky with the clouds as well, because not 2 degrees off to the left there, it's a cloud bank, and that thing came down
It is.
just to the side of the clouds.
It did. It came down so perfectly. I know.
Also
I
signal
know.
first
It's
stage
awesome.
from the Cape.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Landing on the drone ship.
Yep.
Now remember, landing on the drone ship, second stage cutoff and orbit insertion are going to happen relatively close to one another. DOS, the second stage. The second stage.
Yeah? Wow.
Still firing in the distance. Look at that. Look at that.
There you go. Look
Look
at
at
that.
That is from Cape Canaveral. That is the
Wow.
second stage.
Stage 1 is transonic.
Over 1,000 kilometers downrange. We can still see it clear as day. Look at that.
Chris, that stage is going 21,000 kilometers an hour right now. Wow.
Look at that. I know. Look at that. Look at that.
That's insane.
That is the second stage, making its way to orbit, not coming back down to the ground.
Yeah.
That is
Stage
going
2 is
toward
entering terminal
orbit.
guidance.
Stage 1
Okay, and
landing burn has started.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Okay,
So I'm going
the
to switch back to this, Chris.
All right, so the landing burn has started, but here's the second stage again. I still got it. Look
Stage
at that.
2
It's about
FTS
to
is
go.
saved.
That's insane.
I'm really hoping I get Miko.
Stage
Come
1
on,
landing
don't go
legs
behind
have
the cloud.
deployed.
Okay, the landing legs have deployed on stage 1. Stage 1 is coming in.
Yep.
Stage
and
2 is almost to orbit. I lost
And
it.
stage 1 is landed. Landing operators proceed
Yes!
to 11.100 on
Stage 1.
recovery 1 and ECF 9.
Amazing. Stage 1 landed. Stage 2 is still going. We got amazing views of that as
That
it
was
headed
cool.
downrange. Absolutely incredible. Look at that booster in the morning sunlight, standing proud and tall on, of course, I Still Love You. The second stage engine has shut down.
Nominal orbital insertion.
All right,
And we have a
starting,
nominal orbital
TX
insertion.
Prime, RF1A on.
Acquisition of signal Newfoundland. Loss of signal Cape.
Chris, I can't get over that. I can't get over seeing the booster do its entry burn.
I know, but look at the contrail that's still in the sky.
Let's see. Let's see if I can get it here.
Over that.
Wow. It's getting lit up by the sun now.
Yeah, Das, I have that was incredible. Like following it that far to the horizon was incredible
Chris,
this morning.
you know what that tells me? If I go over to the coast of North Carolina, that gets me within 280 kilometers of the landing zone. If you could see
Yeah,
that from 600 kilometers, I can get half that distance if I go over to the coast of North Carolina here.
We should try that on an upcoming Starlink flight. Actually,
Two cameras, we could triangulate the position.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was so cool. This is why I get happy when I get to show things like this, because there are things that every once in a while you get to see and like they sort of pass into memory. It's like, oh yeah, remember that launch when we could track it all the way to the horizon? Wasn't that amazing? And then they never happen again, right? And I try to say like, guys, it's incredible. Every launch is different, and this is what I want to like share with all of you, right? If you can't be here in person for a launch, but like, hopefully the fact that our camera saw the entry burn and the second stage right before engine cutoff and orbit insertion from here at the Cape convinces a lot of people to come see the launches that happen about an hour before sunrise, because they are freaking gorgeous.
I almost want to go outside and see if I can see the plume. You're from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Gosh, you might be able to.
I don't know if I'd be able to, but That's crazy. So we're back on the SpaceX track there, coming up on deployment. We got a couple SkySats that are at the top of the stack, and they're going to be deploying first, right, Chris?
Yes, because they are at the top, and they'll have a little bit of from what we understand, they'll have a little bit of a different deployment sequence because you don't want them tumbling off with all the Starlinks.
Yep.
Of course, with everything, let's wait and see what the images show us.
And Chris, if you could straighten out horizon your camera there while we're on this other camera.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because that's going to be a great shot. It's getting more and more lit by the sun, and I want to swap back to that in a minute.
Yes, there we go.
Thank you. Perfect.
That should be much more. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's Chris's view out at Cape Canaveral right now, y'all, and you can see as that sun comes up, we get more definition on the clouds there. And the white at the top of the screen is actually the plume. That's the plume that's still being illuminated by the sun. Again, it's dark where Chris is, but the sunlight is directly hitting that plume of the rocket that just recently passed through the atmosphere up there. So it's such a beautiful sight. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It absolutely incredible. You know, it's mornings like this, like you know, when, you know, for everyone watching and listening, like when Doss, Michael, and I got on the call this morning, and we're going through all of our checks, like the one thing we were all saying was, man, it's early, man, it's early, man, it's early. That is what makes getting up at 2:15 in the morning worth it.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
All right, let's see what we can see here, because we're coming up on payload deployment, and they've got the payload
SkySat 1
down.
separation confirmed.
Oh, there we go. SkySat 1 has separated.
Yep. I'm going to go full screen on
Now,
that. See a little something coming off the top, maybe?
Now, remember, it's blocked. There, there it is.
You can see it.
Yep. So there's SkySat 1.
Boing! It just sort of pops off the top.
Going away. It does. It's so cute.
It's so cute. Look at it. You just want to pet it. Like,
SkySat 2 separation confirmed.
Okay, and there's Planet Labs 2. They've just confirmed separation, so we'll see it in a moment.
Yep.
And then the third one will go, and then maybe like last time, we'll see the tension rods release, and then the Starlinks will all deploy as normal.
And Chris, these SkySats are being released retrograde right now. If the motion of the planet is, I'm understanding this correctly, they've oriented the second stage so that it's pointing retrograde, and they're releasing these.
SkySat 3 separation confirmed.
Am I seeing that correct?
You are, and in fact, they kind of do that on the Falcon for all the Starlink separations as well. They flip retrograde and then fling them off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if we're going to get a little bit of motion. Are they going to sling the stack here before they separate the Starlinks?
So they should, because they need because we've been told they need rotation. So we should see a little bit.
Yep. And
of that coming up here.
I don't actually see Starlink satellite deploy in the SpaceX timeline down there. I see SkySat, but I don't see another checkpoint in the time, the thing that they're giving us. So we'll stand by and continue to look at this. But y'all, look at Chris's view. Look at the sun coming up out at the Cape, and the clouds are getting more and more pink as the sun comes over the horizon. Those clouds are going to light up like fire in the sky. I don't know if you'll be able to keep your camera on until then, but I'm watching for them to deploy these Starlink satellites.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing we're waiting for now. We should be coming up on that moment relatively soon if it's going to follow previous rough previous timings. But of course, the other thing to consider is that maybe they want to get the Starlinks farther away, give the Planet Lab satellites time to drift away before all the Starlinks fan out.
Yeah, the Starlinks are engineered to bump off each other. They can handle that, but maybe the Planet Lab sats shouldn't be bumping into Starlink sats, right?
Well, exactly, and even with these multiple deployments, right, the Planet Labs flying in formation with one another, the Starlinks flying in formation with one another, they might be delaying the Starlink deployment to get separation between those two groups as well, so that when all the Starlinks do fan out from one another and start their train, but before like their thrusters can get activated, right, or to protect for what if one of them launched and the thrusters don't activate, right? You don't want them bumping into the Planet Lab satellites. So I would think that might actually be what we're seeing, because this is a different timeline so far than normal.
Yeah.
But here we are back on the Starlink stack.
Yeah, they're just hopping around. They still don't have anything in the feed there. And control room, I don't know if anybody's heard anything else. What's going on with that? T+38, they will confirm deploy, they said. So they said they're doing deployment of the Starlinks at T+38, 38, Chris.
So that's, so again, a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, that's 22 minutes from now.
Yeah, and we've seen them vary, deployments. They used to deploy about an hour after liftoff. Then they switched and they deployed 15 minutes after liftoff in that range. But of course, this being the first ride share with Planet Labs, it makes sense that they would want to give as much time as possible for those those 3 Planet Lab ride share satellites to drift as far away from the stack on the second stage as possible before they release it.
Right.
And release those 58 Starlinks. So of note, this brings the total number of Starlinks launched to 540. So total number launched to date of Starlinks is at 540.
Oh, that's convenient, because we had 2 extras, and then now we have 2 short, so we're back to an even number.
So we're back to an even number.
Or
yes.
a 10 number, a 10 number.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, and that's also a difference, right? Because they had previously launched, there were the 2 test satellites, Tintin A and Tintin B, that went up on a rideshare mission from a West Coast Falcon 9 mission in 2018. And then since then, there were 8 batches of 60 and now 1 batch of 58 that have been launched. And we will wait to see what the number on Starlink 10 is, because buckle up if you thought we were done, if you thought June already seemed busy. My gosh, is that Julia?
Chris, that's Julia. Look at that shot.
Oh, look at that shot that Julia got. Look at that.
So that's Julia Bergeron. Chris, pronounce her name for me, please.
Bergeron.
Bergeron. That's Julia Bergeron. She did a streak shot with some Florida flora. Can I say Florida flora there? Because that's a plant. In the foreground, we got some palm tree action going. And the Starlink, I love the streak shots when they go through clouds. Streak shots are kind of, I mean, all right, they're cool when it's a nice clear sky, but I think streak shots that go through clouds are better than streak shots when the sky is perfectly clear. You can almost see it like puncturing the cloud. It looks so cool when there's clouds that it goes through. God, that's a great shot. Oh.
Exactly. I mean, like this launch today was just absolutely visually stunning for a couple of reasons. I mean, that's the live shot of what I'm still seeing.
Yeah.
In the sky over the Cape. But as Falcon 9 was actually ascending during first stage booster flight, the way it was backlighting, the way the rocket engines were backlighting the sound waves as the sound waves hit the cloud deck was incredible. You could see the sound pulsing through the clouds.
Oh, geez.
It was incredible. Like, it's incredible. That's what I mean. Like, these night launches are unreal sometimes.
Yeah. I always say you got to get to see a launch, but these launches where it's the just before sunrise or just after sunset, and you get the picture you're seeing on the screen right now, y'all, that bright cloud up there is the rocket exhaust that's in direct sunlight. And then the red clouds, the lower clouds, that's actually cloud, like atmospheric clouds, and they're only getting the diffracted sunlight. They're getting that red sunlight that has there's so much atmosphere to come through. So those will go very bright as soon as the sun's sort of right on them. But right now, that's just sunlight being scattered through the Earth's atmosphere, sort of giving them that pink cotton candy feel. So the contrast between those two things there is just crazy. If you can see a launch right before sunset, or right after sunset, or right before sunrise, you're looking about 30 minutes is the perfect timing. And this one was just about perfect timing this morning. But,
it really was. And Doss, unfortunately, on that note...
Oh, I was going to ask.
Started breaking down, aside from the live on-air folks who are doing their live spots for like Channel 13 right now. So I'm going to have to pack it up here. Unfortunately, I know... this is such a killer view. It pains me, but you know what? I will stay live until I absolutely can, and I have to throw it in the car and run.
Yeah.
But I will have to be a very hasty shutdown.
For this view, Chris, I think you can be that guy for this view. Like,
I think so too. I also want to point out, I'm not zoomed in. That's the complete wide view.
It's
like,
it's beautiful
of what we're seeing, which is incredible.
Oh my gosh. And y'all, I know
Yeah.
SpaceX is just sort of cycling through views of the rocket, but this shot that Chris has here,
Oh
this
yeah,
is
yep,
such.
gotta go.
Oh no! All right, Chris.
Yeah, gotta go.
Well,
Sorry,
we
guys.
appreciate you. Pack it up, pack it in, and travel safe. And
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you getting out there, Cape. I got it from here. Okay.
All right, thank you, Das.
All right, y'all. So that is Chris G. He's going to be shutting down his camera. It is killing me. It is absolutely killing me that we have to shut down that beautiful view of the Florida sunrise this morning. I don't know what to tell you. That was just so wonderful looking. Quick, Das, get your camera outside, right? I'll just run outside with the camera and stream a sunset or a sunrise real quick. Don't joke, I could do that. His camera feed just went offline there, it looks like, so we're back into single feed mode. Again, that was Chris Gebhardt, Assistant Managing Editor for NASA's Spaceflight. He was live from the ITL Causeway. That's at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station down in Florida, watching the launch of that Starlink. Literally, okay, chat. Okay, SpaceX Actual called it Starlink Ocho. Like on the CommsNet. On the CommsNet at launch, they called it Starlink Ocho. At this point, I just think that SpaceX is trolling us about what to call these things. Starlink Ocho is a little bit ridiculous. But anyways, all right, Chris has packed up his stuff there. Starlink Ocho is a hilarious name. Ocho, Dap Dude, Ocho is Spanish for 8. So when you get Starlink Ocho, it's like ESPN 8, the Ocho, if you got any Dazball fans in there. Anyways, that was just, God, that was such a good shot. I almost just want to put that on loop this morning. Let me check in here. Give me just a second. Again, we've got the SpaceX feed, and let me check in to see what the plan is. Just stand by for me. Chris G, of course, packing up. We will not expect to get any more live feed from Chris, but we do know SpaceX saying that they were going to be about, what do they say, about 13, 14 minutes before they're going to confirm deployment of those Starlink satellites. And it does actually look, that looks like that upper stage is doing a little bit of a maneuvering there. You can see that it seems to be changing its vector, or changing its heading, I guess, its attitude, as the Earth sort of coasts underneath it left or right. So let's see what we get here. I'm telling the control room that I want Chris to take his camera back out of the car after they get out of the base and point it back at the sunrise for us. But that's about a 20 to 25 minute drive to caravan out, so I would expect that the sun is probably going to be pretty risen, pretty up by the time we're able to get that remote camera online. So it may not be worth it. I'm actually going to send a text message to Chris and just ask him if he gets over there and the sunrise is beautiful, if he wants to turn that camera back online. That's what we're going to do. But we have a little bit of time before the confirmation of the payload separation here. The Starlink's hanging on a little bit longer than normal. That does say Starlink. That's odd. Coming up pretty quickly on the little graphic that's at the bottom of the screen, it does say Starlink there.
Yeah, they're deploying it in about a minute, and I think they're going to take a bit of time to be able to confirm that with the ground stations.
Okay, so they're releasing them shortly, but it's going to be during a blackout area, I guess, which is odd because it's like right over. I mean, I guess it's not right over Europe in another minute, but then it's going to take them some time to get confirmation of successful deployment of the payload. So that's why there's a difference between when they're actually deploying the payload and when they'll get confirmation that that payload has successfully deployed. That's what we're standing by. But so far, we've seen a beautiful launch this morning. I haven't seen any information from the drone ships, or sorry, from the fairing catcher ships to see if they caught the fairing. The drone ship caught itself a booster this morning. We got full feed from that drone ship as the booster came down and successfully landed. And we are just waiting for the final piece of the mission here, the confirmation that the Starlink satellites stack 58 satellites for telecommunication, broadband internet, deploying from the top of the second stage. And then, of course, like we talked about earlier, that second stage not reusable, that's going to be burning up deorbiting after a little bit of time. Not right now. That's not happening today, clearly. So, let me see what we've got over here. Stand by for me. There we go. And then... Yeah, we're not actually set up for that. That's okay.
I really doubt it, but if the confirmation comes at T plus 38 minutes, it's only a couple minutes more until those fairings land.
Oh,
you never know.
Geez. Do we get confirmation from fairings often, or is there a long turnaround time on that sometimes?
We've never seen them attempt a landing live, I believe, but one of the times they caught them, they went live right after it happened, but we've never seen them actually land live.
Gotcha. And they did show us live views from both the fairing catchers this morning, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So we're wondering if maybe they will show that to us. That would be interesting. All right. Let me do this. Let me pop through real quick here and see if I can't grab a couple of super chats and stuff. Gabby Huff 2000. I'm not sure what HUF is. Thanks for sharing that with us, and your excitement is contagious. We appreciate you, Gabby. I'm gonna go with Gabby for now. I apologize if that's incorrect. We are that's sort of our vibe around here. We want to share our experiences with you. We are an official news site, so we have good news content, accurate information, and stuff like that. But we are also excited. We're individuals who are spaceflight enthusiasts. So instead of sitting here and being like, and now we're standing by for the official launch of Walter Cronkite or whatever, I mean, certainly a place for that, but that's not really our vibe. We are super excited about this stuff. We're happy we can share it with you. So thank you for the support there, so we can keep on keeping on. And then we got Mars Mountain as well. Mars Mountain 100 SEK. I love this vivid commentary. Thank you, team. We appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the kind words there. Thank you so much, Mars Mountain, for the praise. And then finally, we've got Ron Smith, and says Ron Smith says the stack is rotating for Starlink deployment. We are in a video downlink sort of loss right now. Apparently, the Starlink satellites should have already separated, but we're standing by for confirmation on that. They said that it was going to take them a little bit of time to get to that actual confirmation that the Starlink satellites were successfully separated from the payload. Here's a question. Is it real? Yes, it is real. Our own Chris Gebhardt. I have hung out with Chris Gebhardt on many occasions. I've drank beers with Chris Gebhardt. I've shared Airbnbs with Chris Gebhardt. He is a real person, and I trust when he tells us that he was there operating that camera himself, and he saw that rocket launch with his own eyes. I've been down to the Cape personally. I have seen rockets launch with my own eyes. If there's some sort of conspiracy going on that everybody's in on and people are being paid to lie about rocket launches, honestly, I haven't gotten my paycheck yet. I'm not sure if it's lost in the mail or something, but if those rocket launches are not true and somebody is paying me to tell you this, my bank account does not reflect that. Let's put it that way. That launch is real, and it did happen for real this morning down at Cape Canaveral. You know what it means. I'm going to keep on doing some Q&A here for you. There's a lot of questions that have been in chat. What are the 4 towers around Falcon 9? This was from Harry Subhash Reddy. What are the 4 towers around Falcon 9 and most other pads, but not at pad 39A where Crew Dragon took off? That's a great question. When you see the towers around a launch pad, those are lightning towers or lightning catenaries. They're there to actually attract lightning bolts. Instead of the lightning striking your rocket, which has a very expensive payload, sensitive electronics, it may be filled with fuel and oxygen, basically a massive bomb sitting on the pad, right? You don't want the lightning to hit the rocket. You want the lightning to be channeled away from it safely. And so those towers are there. They're taller than the rocket. They're grounded to Earth with massive, massive electrical, like conductive cables, and they're there to attract lightning, literally. Now, why are there 4 towers at 40, but only no towers, or 1 tower at 39A? 39A actually has the crew structure. It's got that old shuttle tower on it, and that's been converted to the crew to the tower, the crew tower at 39A. 39A actually has a single tower up on the top of it, and that tower is tall enough and has enough clearance from the rocket itself to protect the rocket from lightning. There is no crew tower at pad 40. So when they launch from pad 40, they have 4 towers that are sort of around that, and then there's actually wires that go between the towers. And when the rocket launches, it's actually launching through this hole in the wires that protect it from lightning. It's always a great question. I'm always happy to answer that one because it's easy and I know the answer. Let's see here. Here's one from Gelf. Gelf said, do the cameras that are used to show the separation stages have to be pressurized? Do they have to be pressurized? Do you mean the body of the camera has to be pressurized? I wouldn't think so. I would think that either they're sealed or they're not sealed, but I don't know of anything about the internals electronically or visually of the camera that would cause them to need to have like a sealed environment. Maybe there's some parts of the camera that may be pressurized. I don't know if pressurized is the right term there. That's actually something I should look into. I know that they just toss GoPros up there on the tops of fairings. If I'm not mistaken, they've literally just strapped a GoPro to a rocket before. So GoPro, I don't think, has any special vacuum hardening or anything like that. Or if they do anything, did they put it in some sort of housing or something? That's a good question. I'll have to ask around and see if I can get any more information on that. But I don't believe they have to do anything special with those cameras. Let's see. Starlink train. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is 1,000 dots. This is more of a comment from 1,000 dots. And 1,000 dots says, if it's not cloudy, the Starlink train will pass over Melbourne. It's 6:40 a.m. local time. So that's going to be in about half a day, I guess, local time, right? So you'll get a Starlink pass in Melbourne. We've seen over at flightclub.io, you can actually plan passes and see if you're going to get a view of Starlink. There's lots of websites that do it. Flight Club is one of our friends. Declan makes that website. And you can check to see where those passes are going to go over you. But it looks like there may be one in Melbourne. 1,000 dots. Thanks for sharing that. Let's see. I haven't heard SpaceX confirm. Michael, I haven't missed anything with confirmation there, right? I've still got Mission Control audio online.
Nope, we're expecting it at T plus 38 minutes.
38 minutes, so about 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes before we'd get that confirmation, correct? Yeah, all right,
yep.
Good. So, again, y'all, we're just standing by. We believe, according to SpaceX's timing, we believe that the Starlink satellites have already separated, but that was in a video blackout area, so we did not get live video of the Starlinks deploying today. And SpaceX telling us that just in about 4 minutes now, they'll come back on the horn and they'll let us know whether or not they have confirmed a successful deployment. That's always sort of what we hang out for. And then, Michael, we were also saying potentially those fairings should be coming down right around the same time. So I don't know that SpaceX is going to say that or not. Are you listening to the official feed? The official...
no, I don't think they're going to show it. I was being a bit optimistic, but I don't think it's a 0% chance. There's maybe a 5% chance.
Okay, gotcha.
So there's a chance, but not a good one.
Yeah. So we'll just we'll keep on hanging out, and we're not going to stay alive all day because it's coming up on 6 a.m. here for me. But, yeah. Again, everybody, thanks for joining us this morning. Over here in the studio, I'm John Galloway. Studio host, I guess. The other voice you heard there was Michael Baylor, photographer, writer, and webcast technology extraordinaire, doing all of the overlays and stuff, doing super chats, how we were able to display the chat messages and questions and stuff that on the screen. That's all Michael there, and it is 5, 4, 3, 2. What is it? It's 2:56 a.m. over where you are, isn't it, Michael? He keeps
Unfortunately, that's correct.
Unfortunately,
I keep having to mute and unmute.
Yeah, he's very polite and he mutes his mic because literally everyone else is sleeping over there. So anyways, y'all, what are we doing on time? 35, 38. So about 2.5 minutes. In 2.5 minutes, we expect SpaceX to give us some sort of verbal status on what's going on with those Starlink separations is what we are doing. So, whew. It's still early. That was really good look. I mean, that was really pretty this morning with the plumes and stuff like that being illuminated. Was it an early morning or late night for y'all? Simon Wheat, I'm running on about 2 hours worth of sleep. Michael, I don't know if you went to sleep or did you just stay up straight through it? Like, you probably watched Rocket Lab and just stayed up for this one. I don't know if you got a nap or not,
Yeah,
did you?
that's correct. No sleeping.
You just no sleep till launch, huh? I'm with my family this weekend, so I've got a long day ahead of me, so I was able to get a little bit of sleep there. It was pretty not enough sleep, I guess I could say. And look at this. I could probably bring this shot up that Julia posted up. She did put that in the control center. So let me see if I can share this view from the Cape right now. This must be from where she got the streak shot from. And can I pop over to a present screen? Yeah, here we go. Check this out. This is Julia Bergeron's view from wherever she did that streak. That, of course, is that sunrise coming up down at Cape Canaveral. I don't know exactly where she was for that streak. She may have been up the coast north a little ways based on the angle of the streak there, but that is what the sunrise looked like for her this morning as we stand by awaiting confirmation from SpaceX on those deployment of the Starlink satellites. That's just I don't get up early very often. Like, I'm not one of those let's go out every morning and enjoy the sunrise, but if I have reason to be up, like a rocket launch or something, sunrises are pretty cool things to experience, that's for sure. Oh, wow. There we go. So we shared that over. I'm going to see if there's any tweets or anything that have gone as well. Oh, Chris has a clip of the entry burn from the Cape. Jeez. We're just standing by waiting for that. I could bring this one up on YouTube. Yeah, wow. I'm just going to retweet all these things real quick. I got a lot of things going on here. So here's 38 minutes. We're expecting SpaceX to confirm status right around here, 38 minutes. Let's see what we get. And the link I just put in chat, I'm K-Space Academy there in chat. That is a link to that tweet that is the entry burn being seen from Cape Canaveral over 600 kilometers away is a little bit crazy. I'm just going to make sure my audio is still live over here. Yeah, Mission Control audio. I still have that up. And we've got them on the official webcast there, but I'm not actually listening to what she says. I don't have the capability to pop that in. 30 seconds to confirmation. Okay, 30 seconds to confirmation. We don't play their commentary from their hosted webcast. We actually have their Mission Control audio up because we've got our own commentary, but every now and then...
Position signal, Diego Garcia.
Stand by.
Starlink tension rod separation confirmed.
So that was a specific call there. Starlink tension rod separation confirmed. I wonder if we're going to get a different successful deployment of the Starlink stack. Michael, what do you think they're going to do there? Do you think, was Starlink tension rod separation confirmed? That seemed very specific. Huh.
1 second, I'm listening to what the other host said.
All right, copy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think tension rods is it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so she's talking
SpaceX tweeted it's a successful mission.
Okay, SpaceX just got a tweet that says successful mission. There we go. Instead of, I was trying to look through tweets and try to see if I had some confirmation and make sure my audio was still online. But I just popped over to Twitter because I'm not actually broadcasting her. I'm not set to broadcast her audio from that specific feed the way I'm consuming it right now. But that was the tweet that I was linking up right there. Let's just pop over to this scene right here. There we go. We'll pop over to this scene. I'm going back to sleep. You think I'm kidding? I'm going to go back to sleep. It's Saturday morning here in the States. It's 6:01 a.m. We rolled out pre-4 a.m. to bring you this live view from Cape Canaveral of the Starlink launch that successfully went off out at the Cape today. 58 Starlink satellites. That is what that is. So we have now gotten a successful confirmation that we've gotten a confirmation that SpaceX has successfully deployed not only those 3 rideshare sats, those SkySats there that they deployed early on, but also their 58 Starlink satellites. Again, Starlink satellites, broadband internet access. They're building that constellation, low Earth orbit constellation of broadband internet satellites that, I mean, hey, Elon, I don't know if you're out there, but I got room in my house for a pizza box on the roof if you want me to test Starlinks. I could put one on the roof of my car and we could do some mobile stream stuff. Chris G could use one at the Cape. I mean, Mary, Boca Chica gal, could use a Starlink terminal down at, Boca Chica. We could use it as one of our modems. If you want somebody to stress test those things, we can stress test the heck out of a broadband internet connection. I tell you what, we can do that. But I believe now that we've got successful confirmation of the payload, Michael, any news concerning those fairings? Have we heard anything from SpaceX or anything like that? We'll wait.
No, they're wrapping up the webcast.
They're wrapping
up
the
to end it.
webcast. So it doesn't even seem like the webcast is standing by or stalling or anything like that to get some sort of information about the fairings. We do know they're attempting the catch. We did see some live feeds from those 2 fairing catcher ships. Not sure if those can actually stay live during the catch attempt, but I'm sure we'll hear something about the fairing catch attempt because they are attempting the fairing catch this morning. Again, recap, that's Starlink the Ocho, according to SpaceX, and they have a successful launch of the rocket. They had a successful deployment of the 3 SkySat ride shares. They had a successful deployment of the 58 Starlink satellites, and they had a successful landing of the booster back on the drone ship. So they'll be recovering that and using it one more time, hopefully. But across the board, looking good for SpaceX down at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station this morning for their launch of Starlink Ocho. I'm going to keep using Starlink Ocho. I don't even care. They said it on the webcast, so I'm going to go with Starlink Ocho. But I believe that is going to be us signing off for today. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats or anything like that. Membership super chats, doesn't look like it. VK3CRG says, great commentary, guy. Fantastic Saturday evening entertainment from Melbourne, Australia. We appreciate the kind words there. Again, y'all, we're able to do this. We're able to keep bringing you these sorts of things because of your support. You show up, you chat, you don't chat, you like and subscribe, whatever. We send out a tweet, you retweet, you engage on Twitter, you make comments, you ask us awesome questions here. All the different things you do beyond financial support, beyond just super chats and memberships and stuff like that. We do appreciate every different way that you can support us. I will tell you, we did launch something special for members in the Discord, so if you're a channel member and you haven't checked out the members-only Discord yet, you might want to pop over there to the Party Chat channel and click on the link, merch store. There is some stuff that we are soft launching. We're testing with members only over there. The information is in the Discord to get connected, if you haven't seen that yet and you're a member. But anyways, speaking of ways you can support NASA Spaceflight's ability to bring you these streams. Anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Again, out at the Cape today, we had Chris Gebhardt, Assistant Managing Editor for NASA Spaceflight. He was operating that camera that brought us those amazing views of the nebula that's created in the sky whenever we get those pre-dawn launches, wherever they are. Also, on the back end, you hear Michael Baylor on occasion talking about giving me some status updates in the background. He's listening to other feeds and stuff like that. I only got so many ears here, and most of it's filled with the sound of my own voice right now because I talk a lot. But Michael Baylor, thank you so much. See, look, Michael Baylor right there. Thank you so much for the support this morning and the help with everything that you do to make these things happen. And then lastly here, I'm your host. I'm John Galloway up here in the studio. I'm sort of switching all the feeds and stuff like that and trying to make sure the lights are blinking in the proper orders to bring you the electrons that turn into photons that smack you in the eyeballs so that you can see what is going on half a world away sometimes with the launch of whatever rockets or rail cars or whatever's happening. It's the things in Boca Chica, tanks being filled up with cold gases, whatever's happening. We love it's NASA Spaceflight to help bring those events to you, share those with you wherever you are. But for now, we are done for the day. Congratulations there on SpaceX, and we will see you nerds later. Again, thank you all so much for the support. We appreciate you. Later, nerds.
Pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roll, planet. Flight downside of speed off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.